Hey guys, so let us see what we can do with our morning blessings. Sometimes, this whole week we have been doing, since last week, blessings about money because of where we are in the world right now, financially and everything else. Good morning, Loretta, how are you doing this morning? Oh, you're back home in Wisconsin. Nice, Nancy. So anyway, let us get the show on the road. It is time for the morning blessing. Economizing has no disgrace. Remember that. Economizing has no disgrace. Focus on your financial and emotional alignment. It has no disgrace. So today, we are looking at the financial pillar through a different set of lens. We often think of economizing as a sign of lack, but the 5 pillars of prosperity is actually telling us it's a sign of mastery. So let's talk about why. Why there is no disgrace in sustainable financial spending plan that you create. Only dignity in your truth. When you create how you want your money to be spent, which is what we do with the financial spending plan, when we do that, we are deciding where and how and when we spend our money. So listen to what is commonly said. You listen to all the great, amazing financial and know-hows and the banks and the institutions that do finance. They say the heaviest weight a person can carry isn't the debt itself. It's the mask of pretending to be where they haven't arrived yet. Wow, I wonder what it is going on here. They said it's not the debt, it's not the load of the hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's the mask that they have on, thinking, showing that they're wealthy, that they're rich, they got this. So today, on this morning blessings, we are dropping the mask and picking up the grace of economizing. Because true alignment begins the moment you stop performing and start being grateful for now. For now, to be grateful for now. We need to understand that. You see, the thing about that is we are grateful, but we are not grateful for now. So today we are dismantling a lie that keeps many in bondage. The idea that living within your means is a source of shame. That's not so. It's not a source of shame to live within your means. It is not a source of shame to say I follow a financial spending plan that I created. There's no shame in that. That shows you're mastering your life. You're mastering your finances. You're in control of that and nobody else. Not the supermarkets and not all the ads on the TV and on the Instagram and on everywhere you go just telling you to do this. No. It shows you are ready. Spiritually, you already grounded yourself. True alignment begins with the gratitude for what is currently in your hands. What do you have now? That's where it all starts. You have seen friends and family that look at something longingly in a window and they love it. They cannot stop staring at it. And when they do receive it, they forget to dust it. They forget to cherish it. They don't put it in the right place. The thing is we do it with things, and some of us, we do it with people in our life. We wanted that lover. We wanted that friendship. But when they're there, we treat them like they do not count. And they're humans. They can say something. They can tell us, hey, I don't like how you treat me. But guess what? We take that same attitude and we put it towards an object that cannot respond to our behavior towards it, money. Wow. But my wise mother told me that if we treated each other the way we treat our money, we would not have any friends. So, the true alignment begins when whatever you have, you're grateful for it. When we pretend to have wealth we haven't built, we create a spiritual fracture. It's broken. Today we choose the grace of honesty over the disgrace of pretense. So we're being honest. Economizing has no disgrace. Economize your heart to your heart's content. Because when you are done economizing through your heart's content, you sit down and you savor the results of that heart's content, economizing that you did. So stop trading your peace for an economizing has no disgrace. Stop doing that. Stop saying, I'm not doing to do that. People that they don't have any money. That's why they have to economize. No, that's not true. They economize so they can hold more of what they work for. And you'll find that those people will never say to you, I work so hard for my money. They don't have to say that. They just know I work, I get paid, I spend so much, I save so much, I choose when, how, and where to spend my money. That's what they know. The only disgrace is the exhaustion of living a lie. You have to remember you said a lie. You have to remember you said you had $5 million sitting in your bank account when the next time you see me, you ask me to give you $20 for gas. Extreme. But that has happened to me. So let's bring your spirit, mind, and finances back into the alignment through the power of gratitude. When you are grateful for what you already have, gratitude has several corners, and there are two types of gratitude, which we are going to discuss next week, because we need to understand how important that gratitude is and how to be grateful. And that's a topic we're touching next week. So economizing is not a sign of lack. It's a sign of mastery. It is the mental pillar in action. Deciding that your future security is more important than today's audience. When you speak for the audience out there, I am rich, I have money, and then next time you're sitting at home biting off your fingernails because you cannot figure out what to do, where the money is coming from to pay for something. Disgrace doesn't live in a spending plan or a coupon. It lives in the anxiety of a counterfeit life, spending more to keep up with the Joneses. If somebody can, a friend, that was priceless. I have a friend, she had her kitchen redone, and she called me and asked me what type of stove I had, if I had a gas stove. I said no. And she said, oh, do you know who has a gas stove? I said, oh yeah, this particular friend of ours has a gas stove. So she said, so she called the friend, and then she called me back and she said, well, you know what? If she can have a gas stove, I can have a gas stove. And I went, oh, okay. So anyway, remember that. If she can have a gas stove, I can have a gas stove. A gas burner to cook on. That's the whole thing, right? So the top is the burner is gas also. She called me again and she said, if so and so had told me how difficult it is to clean a gas burner, I wouldn't have bought one. But you didn't buy it thinking what you would get from it. You bought it saying, if she can have it, I can have it. That's wrong. That is not how life is. You're keeping up with the Joneses. When you do that, disgrace doesn't live in a financial spending plan or a coupon. It lives in the anxiety of a counterfeit life. You only want it because she has it. And if she has it, I can afford to have it too. But everything somebody has comes with consequences that you are not willing to make. You are not willing. We have talked about it. People see you. A woman actually looked at us at a ladies' group that we have and pointed her finger at each person and said, I want what you have and you have and you have. And everybody was stunned looking at her like, huh? She was not married. She still is not married. She does not have a family. And at that time, she didn't have any either. And she did that. And that index finger was almost in our noses. And you know me, my big mouth, I had to say, listen to me. I said, for each of what you want from us, we have a price to pay. I said, when you're ready, you get in your car and you drive to go see your sister in Florida from Toronto. I said, if we have to go visit our parents, we have to cook meals for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, for however long we'll live in that house. We cannot just pack up like you, lock our door to our condo and take off and go to Florida. No, we can't. So what we have comes with a price. And I said to her, are you willing to pay the price? Sometimes it's not convenient to go because the children has something happening at school. Or your husband has a big company due that you have to attend. So there you go. And then she didn't say anything. But that is why we find ourselves in financial challenges later on, because we want to compete with the Joneses. We want to have what people have, not realizing they are paying a price for whatever it is that they have in their life right now. And it's not a price you can pay or willing to pay. You do not have the tools to do that. This lady didn't. And the other one didn't consider, why don't you go check it out and see if you really want a gas burner? And then to come back and say, she never told me you have to clean the gas burner. And I'm thinking, really? But you only said you need it, you want it. If she can afford it, I can afford it. That is so silly. So disgrace doesn't live in a spending plan or having to use coupons. It lives in the anxiety of a counterfeit life. When you pretend you are in a constant state of fight or flight. That's what happens when you pretend. That is the opposite of prosperity. So when you're feeling that way, you should have something like this. I am not defined by what I spend, but by the wisdom with which I steward my blessings. So in other words, you can change it and make it easier. You know me, I see words differently. I am not defined by what I spend, but by the wisdom with which I spend, or how I manage my money. Think about that. You know, the financial pillar is practical stewardship. It teaches you how to manage this money that we have. In the financial pillar, we learn that wealth is grown in the dark, quiet corners of discipline. It's being disciplined that causes money to grow and wealth to develop. It's the discipline of saving $1.75 every week. I know you guys are tired of hearing this. But guess what, guys? That's my root. That's my mantra. I cannot forget this. I cannot forget where the journey began, because if I forgot that part of the journey, then I will not be able to respect where I am right now. I'm always saying to you guys, it is the journey that matters. The destination is there. But how did you get there? What did you have to go through for you to get to that destination? That is truly what matters. But when you are sitting back and you are just complaining and saying, I made it and I have it and I want more, go back and think the journey. Smile at the journey. As I said, gratitude has 2 parts to it. Next week, we're going to touch them. So be grateful for the journey you had to take on to get to where you are today. Be grateful for that. You see, in the financial pillar, if you do not have discipline, you are not getting to that destination of the vacation. As do you, those ladies, like Loretta is in Dominica for 4 months, basking in the warmth and the sunshine and the flora and the fauna. Nancy was gone for 5 weeks. Some of them are going forever. So when you think of that, you think it's just because they woke up today and they pressed a button and money came falling? No. They started a long time ago with a plan, a sustainable financial spending plan that put them vacation was number 1 on the list, not at the bottom. Discipline. Automatically have your bank, your financial institution do it for you. They love to do that. So it is financial wealth. That wealth is formed in the dark corners of discipline. And we all hear about it. Discipline is not used as it was used in the olden days. When you went to university or college, they did not ask you what you're studying. They asked you, what is your discipline? That's how it was, because you have to be disciplined to last 4 years doing this thing or go on to a master's, and you got it, right? It was considered a discipline. And that is what makes the difference. So, you see, you cannot be promoted too much if you do not respect a little. You have to show that you're a good manager for you to go from position number 1 at the bottom to the higher position. You cannot be promoted too much if you do not respect the little. And they taught us that. Take care of the nickels so that the dimes will take care of themselves. You see, where are you spending to keep up rather than to build up? Do you have any inclination that you are spending in this little corner over there just so you could look good because your friend is looking good? If really all you can buy is a $10 bottle of wine, then that's what you buy. You do not have to buy a $25 bottle of wine because when you went to your friend's house for dinner, that's what she served. You do not have to do that because you do not have the money. You use a credit card, you do something, and there you are. Somebody might come to you and say, you should do this today. But it's not your today, is it? And as I said, every action you take has a financial consequence. So you need to know your feeling. Do I feel to go spend money today? No. Hibernate. Every day is not money spending day. Economize. Make it your decision, your plan. Do not let another person's behavior cause you to be in debt. I wrote that years and years ago on WordPress. I asked the question to this young woman, whose wind is it anyway? Why were you caught in your friend's wind? W-I-N-D. She had a friend that was going on a vacation. She didn't know that the friend was a student of mine, a disciple of my financial spending plan routine. She didn't know that. But they were friends, and the friend said, I'm going to Cuba. Would you like to come with me? And she said, sure. She took up her little credit card and she paid that $1,500. It was not in 15. In those days, it was like $1,150 or something like that, to go to Cuba with her friend. They went. When they had a wonderful time. They were good together. So the friend's next vacation, a year later, is asking her if you want to come. And she said to her friend, I am still paying for our last vacation. And the friend was, what? You don't have a vacation account? She didn't know me. Her friend knew me. She said, you need to talk to Tessa-Marie. You cannot. I'm so sorry I dragged you into that. So she came to me. And that's when I said to her, like Seneca said, if you do not know what harbor you seek, any wind is a good wind. Simple. If you do not know where you are headed and you're just sitting there, it can cause you to end up in jail. I told you guys the story of the young man that was sitting at home and his friend took him in the car and told him to drive. He had just robbed the bank, right? Just like this young lady. When I got her credit card and I started coaching her on that, she would have 5 years left to pay for that one thing. She got caught in somebody else's wind. And that's why we have to be careful. When somebody tells us it's a good idea, it might be a good idea for them today. That doesn't mean you do not have the money, that you cannot do it right away. But how are you feeling about taking that start that you didn't get the ball rolling? Your sail wasn't set for spending money today. Your sail was set for economizing today. Your plan to do it is not now. So I want to ask you a question, and you can answer that to yourself, honestly, in the mirror, if you can stand to look at your face. Where are you spending money today to keep up rather than to build up? Identify one area today where you can choose the grace of enough over the disgrace of excess. If you have that one area in your life where you do things just to please others, go to dinner when you can, and you're eating the dinner, but your stomach is telling you how are you going to pay for it? You go to the bar with your friends and your stomach is saying, how much? Another? Is that nice? Are you in it? Are you there? Or are you over there worrying about whether when you put your card in the machine, whether it will go through? Stress over finances manifests physical tension in the shoulders, lack of sleep, shallow breathing. It does. Stress over finances manifests physically. Tension in the shoulders, lack of sleep, shallow breathing. By choosing to economize, you are giving your physical pillar a gift. You're saying, I'm okay. When you spend too much, when you decide you're stressing over finances, it manifests physically in the body. Tension in the shoulders, lack of sleep, shallow breathing. But by choosing to economize, you are giving your physical pillar a gift. You are releasing the heavy weight of pretending and replacing it with lightness of truth. This is how much I have. This is what I plan to do with it. This is how it's going. A sustainable financial spending plan is your answer to a financial success in the future. Fine, when you go today knowing that alignment is your greatest currency, align your desires, your determination, your plans with your financial future, your financial moment. No. Be grateful for the bread on the table now, the roof over your head, and the wisdom to save for the seeds of tomorrow. Just be grateful. When I pay what people call bills, I don't refer them to bills. I say I am paying my living expenses. I am alive. It's cost for me to be here today. So therefore, I am paying my living expenses. When we put the word bill, it makes it like we're not happy with bills, are we? But if it's your living expenses, or you can say, you know what, Tessa-Marie, I have sufficient money in my account to pay for my living expenses. It's a nicer feeling than to say all the money I have goes towards bills. But you're alive. You're human. You're going to have expenses. So listen again. Be grateful for the bread on the table, the roof over your head, and the wisdom to save for the seeds of tomorrow. Automatic savings by your financial institution. They're working for you for free. And do not be ashamed to give them the $1.75. Do not be ashamed to increase the $5 to $5.25. Do not be ashamed to do it. Economizing has no shame, no disgrace. And that is what we must remember. When your physical energy is drained, your mental focus slips, and your financial life feels like a performance. Your spiritual alignment is out of sync. So when you step out today, ask yourself questions. Where should I go financially? What path should I follow? Why the path to true prosperity is paved with the courage to live within your means, we do not know. But that is what it is paved with. True prosperity takes you there. That path is to stay within your means, and do not get caught in other people's win. Their win is their win. They are doing it. She went on a vacation because that was her plan. She was a disciple of my financial plan for years. So she was able to do that. And tomorrow we are going to discuss the other one. Cut your coat according to your cloth. That is tomorrow's message. Today is economizing has no disgrace. So do not get caught in your friend's passion, not because you want to make her believe or him or they believe you're okay and you're wealthy like them when you're not. Make sure the wind that you are flying in belongs to you. Ask yourself the question, whose wind am I flying in today anyway? Whose wind is it? Check it out. Because if you get caught in somebody else's wind, you will end up in the harbor that they chose to land in. And it mightn't be a harbor of your choice. So energy is drained when your mental focus slips and your financial life feels like a performance. Your spiritual alignment is out of sync. So take care of yourself. Today, alignment is your greatest currency. So align what it is you're looking for to where it is you want to go. The journey matters. The destination is the fulfillment. It is the pause and the thing that you do, like the 2-year-old goes, I did it. That excitement is what you're going to choose when you get on that vacation. I told you guys about Nancy's face and Joel's face the other day in a screenshot, a selfie they sent to me. They look 20 years younger. They were blooming on their vacation in Florida. Why? Because they had planned it. It was a plan. We do this every year. We step up, we get organized. I know she economizes, I know that, but because by what she does, she plants vegetables, she bakes bread, she does this, she does that. But she has that money for the vacation. And when you get there, pause in the moment and savor where you are. That's the reason of the destination. It's not to work again. It's not to plan again. It's not to start again. It's to be in the moment. And be grateful for the circumstances that got you there. Be grateful for that pension check or that paycheck that you took $2 from and you started building a vacation plan, a vacation account. And here you are. That's why on the Morning Blessings for years, and Yuko still does it, we used to go, here you are. Because you're special. And they would say, here I am, because you are special. I want to know you are here. So when you get to that vacation and you're sitting on the beach, or you're standing and looking at a mountain covered with snow, pause. Inhale the environment, take it in, be grateful in that moment and say, I am so amazingly grateful for this moment to be standing on this beach and enjoying it. Just do not go back and say, and I have friends who don't have any vacation. Don't say that. That's comparison, and that just kills the vibration and the energy you need to sustain it. Don't say that. Just say, you know what? I am so grateful. Or you can be like Lisa. The first